A reflection from the focus group. The use of data, whether hard or soft data, is a core principle to improve instruction. The focus group not only served as quantitative data from a set of predetermined questions, but it also allowed me as the facilitator to observe peer-to-peer relationships and prior experiences and how that has an influence on some of their answers in the focus group. It's important to involve teachers in decisions and valuing their input for essential effective leadership. The focus group met to discuss improving and implementing effective and practical professional development that will improve student success and instructional strategies. I decided to start off the focus group with some think back type questions to warm them up and for them to feel comfortable and to engage the participants. We all have positive and negative experiences in regards to professional development. The best or most favorite professional developments had nothing to do with curriculum or strategies. It was more with the human element. School safety, mental health, classroom bonding, teacher bonding, culture were all top answers. For me, this was not a surprise. Relationships and culture are a driving force and are a precursor to curriculum, instruction, and strategies. This set of answers reminded me of the saying that good leaders have people, bad leaders have just a title. A campus or school has to have buy-in, and school culture, is very important. When you're behind the whole student and the whole faculty and you invest in all your stakeholders, I think you have a much more invested staff. On the flip side, I asked questions in regards to negative or worst PDs. And again, not a surprise, the professional developments that stood out in their minds had nothing to do with their content. It had to do with sitting through maybe a math in service when they were social studies or English or language arts, ineffective lecture type strategies, i.e. sitting in long hours of lecture and PowerPoints with bad technology, distractions, etc. Teachers and educators value their time, and this seems to be counterproductive both in the classroom and for school morale. In response to what do teachers need for their leaders in order to improve their instructional practice, teacher buy-in was a big answer. Again, a reference to school culture came up. Another recurring answer was more collaboration and working within your department. It was a big complaint that we don't have a common planning period, so it's hard to get with your department. Again, a professional development that is relevant and that can be used almost immediately in the classroom was also a consensus. Teachers already feel overwhelmed and pressured. We as administrators need to be conscious of PDs that positively affect time that will translate to successful implementation of the professional development. I was also intrigued by the answers from questions number 9, which reference how do you feel about professional development that is within school hours. I asked this question specifically because I knew that time was a valuable resource. Surprisingly, the consensus was neutral negative. I put up a scenario in place of possibly one faculty meeting per term that you had a PD or a data-driven type meeting that was shot down. Teachers said that they felt rushed already, busy during the day, and going through data was a problem. It could be that our experience at our school is that we have faculty meetings prior to the start of school, and needing that time before school to get your classroom situated for the day is a priority. Not only that, we've had some tech issues in the past, or they relayed some tech issues in the past that caused some delayed or wasted time during meetings. It was brought up, a suggestion was that we have half-day PDs, and you split that between the department, so only half the department is missing instruction time and the other half is in the classroom, and then at lunchtime you flip-flop and you only have a sub, one sub instead of several subs throughout the day. It's effective. You could use it immediately. You're not missing out on a lot of instruction time, etc. The math teachers did bring up some more concerns that they would need a lot of heads up notice, and that they were worried about missing valuable instruction time because they already feel cramped with their curriculum and their content. Another suggestion was life hour. At our school, we have a 55-minute lunch/tutorial period built into our day. Teachers do, of course, have their duty-free lunch with the option to keep their doors open for tutorials. On the flip side of that, the back side, or A or B split depending, teachers also have 2 days mandatory tutorial sessions, duty stations, and they also sponsor a club of some sort. It was brought up maybe if we could, or if they could, have time once or twice a term to get together as a department during that life hour and have a full hour during the day to go over interim assessments, data, what needs to be taught, what are you teaching, etc., different strategies, but that would help out tremendously. And not only that, it could be immediately used after that session. Using time wisely, effectively, and collaboration were all key phrases that were brought up, and also culture. Looking at this data from the focus group, as a future administrator, I would implement PDs that focus on the whole person first. For example, if we have 5 days prior to the start of school, start with team building or culture type activity, building trust between the peers and admin, maybe a school-wide spirit activity, just something to promote culture. Then after that, relevant training such as active shooter, drills, mental awareness, maybe something in regards to social media for bullying and drugs, the latest trends and popular illegal substances that are prominent on campuses these days, involving local PD and counselors. And then from there, PDs that focused on data-driven instruction and curriculum, but with a strong clarification on the difference between data and data-driven, and split those days in half. Maybe in the morning session, you have a presenter or someone from the district that is telling you what data to look for, what trends to look for, how do you distinguish trends and patterns, etc. And in the afternoon, you're not looking at examples or other schools. You're actually going through school report cards, kids report cards, data from your past, benchmarks, etc., and make it relevant to you. Then day 2, maybe in the morning session, talking about what are effective assessment questions, what standards are weak, what are some effective strategies, etc. And then in the afternoon, you are with your team or department or co-teacher, and then you're creating assessments that can be used that current school year. To sum it up, thank you for watching my focus group and reflection. It was extremely challenging to put myself in an instructional leader position and admin position, especially after being in education for almost 20 years, and to step out of my norm and see the other side of the coin. I do feel like I have grown leaps and bounds, especially in understanding the use of data and how it positively affects instruction. It's given me an insight to develop meaningful and beneficial PDs, at the same time building that culture and rapport you need with students and staff. Thank you very much.